Hey folks, I'm Joel with Power Stance Import Export. We specialize in importing and most importantly selling Land Rover Defenders. All right, we also specialize or dabble in other makes and models like the Land Rover Discovery, Toyota Hilux, Land Cruiser. We even had a Mitsubishi Pajero and an Isuzu Trooper diesel. We like anything 4x4 diesel that you can't get here in the United States. So if that interests you, check out our Facebook page, Instagram, the YouTube channel, or even the eBay store at Power Stance Import Export, or you can call us at the number listed here anytime. Speak directly to me if you have any questions about these vehicles. Okay folks, up for sale today, I've got a beautiful 1998 Land Rover Defender 130 crew cab pickup with the 300 TDI. Now this is a right-hand drive UK import, and it has been legally imported. It's now located here in Oxford, Michigan, and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So let me walk you around the vehicle. I'll show you the inside, the outside, underside, and we'll take it for a test ride. So this is a super solid 130, runs and drives fantastic. It does have higher mileage at 100 or 243,000 miles, but you would never know it. It runs and drives fantastic. And we'll start off here in the engine bay. We'll take a look at the back side of the bulkhead here. The corners are in fantastic shape. Footwells are in great shape as well. And if you want to pause the video, there's a look at your VIN tag. That looks like a bunch of new parts under here. This master cylinder looks new. New brake lines there. A couple new hoses and pipes here on the engine. And you know, usually when they paint the engine block number like that, it means that the engine's been taken out and rebuilt. And it's really hard to say if this is the original engine or not, because it runs really, really good. I would say this has been rebuilt. Unfortunately, don't have paperwork on it, but I wouldn't hesitate to take this thing on a 5-hour journey, no problem, because it does run spectacularly. There's the passenger side footwells, and there's a good look at the side of the motor here where oil usually drips. So you can see it's nice and dry. There's your turbo. Everything runs perfectly as it should. Serpentine belt, hoses, all looking good under here. So very clean engine bay. It does have a special vehicles badge, which probably means it was a fleet maintained utility vehicle for a large company at one point. I don't think it was military. So moving on here to the driver's side. The only thing aftermarket really is this aluminum checker plate. Everything else is pretty standard. Flat black light surrounds, grille, bumper, and take a look here. To add to the list of new parts, that's a new radiator, that's a new intercooler. None of the fins are broken or chipped away or disintegrated or anything like that. So intercooler, radiator's looking real good. Bumper looks great as well. It's not bent or dented. That's fantastic. We do have the black wheel arches as well. And speaking of wheels, 16-inch steel wheels on a nice set of 235/85 General Grabber all-terrains. And we do have new galvanized shock turrets. And take a look at the bottom of the footwells here. Very solid footwells, no rust. Very solid looking front outriggers as well. The chassis is in great shape, and we will get underneath the vehicle later on, but there's a little sneak peek. Bulkhead corners, great. Windscreen seal, windscreen, great. No chips or cracks. And the doors are all in great shape as well. They've all been worked on a little bit, but as you can see, no rust, no holes, nothing needed, and the doors do shut nice and solid. And on the outside of the doors, no bubbling, no corrosion. Now, the paint job is kind of hard to see in this lighting. Let's see if we can get a better angle. It's not very shiny or glossy. It's kind of a flat white. It is Alpine white and it has been repainted. As you can see, there's a bunch of little dents and dings in the doors from being a 25-year-old truck. But the exterior of the vehicle, very clean, very uniform. It just does not have a factory perfect paint job, and tiny little bit of corrosion there on the rear by the rear windows. But other than that, for blemishes and corrosion on the outside of the vehicle, that's about it. No dents or serious dings in the bed. On the inside of the bed here, you can see significant use. It has been used as a truck bed, which is what it's supposed to be used as, but no holes or anything needing to be fixed. And also the tailgate is in great shape as well. Normally there's a big old dent here. This might have been repair right there, but from the tailgate swinging down and hitting the trailer hitch. But other than that, pretty solid tailgate. And bed as well on the passenger side, all in good shape. And the hooks are all in place, and the post holes if you want to put a canvas top on here. Let's take a look at the rear cross member. Beautiful shape as well. That has been welded right there. That's a beautiful looking weld. So that's had a new rear cross member and new shocks and springs on all four corners. And again, same story with the passenger side doors. Door cards in decent shape, and the door frames all good. So you've got a high mileage 130, but it's got solid bulkhead, solid chassis, solid doors, tons of new parts, runs and drives fantastic. And let's go ahead and start it up here. On the interior, we do have some aftermarket seat covers as well. Those are nice and fresh. And in the back, 60-40 split bench seats. Headliner is in great shape as well. And there's your dashboard gauges all working. Glow plug light comes on and off. Fires right up. Very steady motor, not vibrating at all. Very clean looking oil, low fire, back pressure. Idles like a champ, and no smoke out of the tailpipe. Okay, as promised, let's take a look underneath the vehicle here. There is a beautiful looking rear cross member that has been replaced and it's in great shape. Super heavy duty hitch, adjustable hitch. And here's a good look at the bottom of the fuel tank. And from the looks of it, everything has been steam cleaned and coated with a light coating of wax oil, so you can see everything going on the frame. Super clean looking frame. And we do have a rear sway bar with new hardware and bushings back here, and beautiful set of brake calipers and discs. Dust covers, those have all been replaced. Look at all the new hardware. Shocks and springs are all new as well. There's a brand new A-frame ball joint, and same on the driver's side. Brand new brakes, brake lines as well. So super clean looking chassis. Okay, and here we are on the driver's side. There's a good look at the rear axle, looking nice and dry. Drive shafts as well, looking good. Bunch of new hardware there on the body mounts. Rear control arm bushings, those are new. Middle outriggers look great. And there's a good look at the center section of the chassis. Very clean. No holes or rust or repairs needed to the chassis whatsoever. And there's a good look at the center diff. And it does seem to have a PTO implement here, and that can be used for maybe a winch or something. I don't know what it was used for, but that is aftermarket, which is kind of cool. And there's your exhaust, and from the rear, that's new. This looks like this exhaust has a few miles on it, but still very solid. And there's the bottom of the transmission and bell housing. And same story on the passenger side. Beautiful chassis. Fresh set of bushings on the rear control arms. New hardware on the body mounts as well. Beautiful center outriggers. Beautiful chassis. Battery box looks to be in great shape as well. And then there's another look at closer look at the transmission and bell housing. Look at how clean that is. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. All right. Okay, and up front at the business end, I see some slotted brake discs, which is pretty sweet. Dust covers all in place. Swivels looking very clean. Nothing dripping out of the swivels. And again, shocks and springs on all four corners have been replaced. Steering drop arm looks to be good. Steering stabilizer, all good. And there's a good look at the bottom of the motor. Look at how clean that is. I don't see any oil dripping out of there. And I have not washed this off or steam cleaned it or anything like that. It's in very good condition. Very clean. And here's the passenger side swivels as well. Front of the chassis. The dumb irons. Very solid chassis, very solid underneath. No leaks out of the front axle or the rear axle. Just a very clean looking undercarriage. All right, so let's take her for a spin and I'll show you the gear changes, acceleration, braking, and steering and all that good stuff. And hopefully I can show to you how solid this truck really is, because it drives mint, folks. Like Girl Scout Thin Mint, grasshopper. All right, so there's first gear, second gear, third, and fourth. So cruising nicely at 40 miles an hour, nice and straight down the road. Barely any road noise. The tires are not super aggressive, so they're not going to make a ton of noise. The shocks and the bushings all new, so everything is super solid. I hear a small rattle coming from the jack underneath the rear seat. But that's about it. I don't hear any window rattling. I don't hear any bumps. Definitely no, we're gonna upshift or downshift here to third gear. There's no clunking whatsoever in the gear changes. All right. And let's accelerate here downhill. So that's third gear. I can hear the turbo a little bit louder than stock, so that might have an upgraded turbo. So there's 50 miles an hour and there's fifth gear. All right, so let's test out the brakes here. The brakes are all brand new, so they should be spot on. All right, so I'm slowing down from 40 to 0 with no hands at all, and no pulling to the right or left, no squeaking, no vibrations or anything like that. Brakes are fantastic. So let's put it in reverse. No grinding there. And the one thing I do love about the 130 is you have fantastic visibility. You got windows pretty much surrounding the whole cab, and you got a great view backing up, great view making turns. So let's give her the beans. That's second gear at 35 miles an hour. Third gear. Fourth gear and fifth gear. And I do like the ride of the 130. That's the best thing about the longer wheelbase, is it's going to have a better ride. Not as much front to back bouncing as the 90 or the 110, but they are longer and they are harder to park and drive around corners and off-road. But they do have a really smooth ride. and this one is no exception.